Thank you, Chris. That was excellent. And now we have a special guest. We have the president of MasterCard North America, Linda Kirkpatrick. Please come up, join her, or give me a round of applause. She's going to introduce Raja.
Well, I am so glad not to be introducing Mickey Mouse, because it would not be half as magical as the opportunity to introduce my friend, Rajamannar. I'm not the CFO, by the way, but I'm still a friend. I'm a good friend. I remember being so excited to meet Raja when he joined MasterCard. He was already a star in the marketing space. He'd come from brands like Citi and Humana and WellPoint, but none of us realized just how great he was or would be. In the decade that has passed since Raja joined, he's already been named one of the most influential CMOs by Forbes, one of the world's most innovative CMOs by Business Insider, Global Marketer of the Year by the World Federation of Advertisers, and he's become a fixture in places like Cannes Lions, South by Southwest, CES. You've probably heard him on one of your favorite podcasts. But Raja is more than a rock star CMO. In my 26 years at MasterCard, I have never met anyone with more passion for inclusion or for creating the new and different. He's a teacher at heart, open, inviting, and eager to share his knowledge. His book, entitled Quantum Marketing, which you all have a copy of, which, by the way, he wrote in 2 weeks, during his daily walks during COVID, as he dictated his notes into his phone. It explored a new fifth paradigm in marketing, and it's been dubbed masterful and a must-read. And as you'll see if you read it, you would agree. And he's as avid a learner as he is a teacher. Funny enough, he actually started off as a chemical engineer, not exactly the traditional path of a marketer. That said, that was his passion before his current one to improve and grow pushed him into this new paradigm, one that brought him into the business world just like the rest of us. Recently, he inexplicably found the time to teach himself Spanish, which makes me seriously question how I'm spending my downtime these days. The truth is, Raja's unending pursuit of knowledge and desire to make sense of the world around him makes him such a wildly successful leader at MasterCard. Raja embodies the beliefs that make me so proud to be part of our company. That MasterCard is not just a payments network, but a company that empowers people, values them, and shares in their humanity. Over the years, Raja has leveraged that belief to propel our brand to new heights and uncharted territory. His contributions, you can say, have been priceless. When Raja began at MasterCard, that ad campaign was already a big part of our brand. It all started with a father and a son. Dan, we used the kid, we listened to you, and a ball game and a voice chiming in to make you reconsider everything in your life. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. It was brilliant marketing. And there were skeptics out there who wondered if we could ever do anything to top it. But those skeptics hadn't met Raja. His relentless curiosity got him thinking. For the things money can't buy, well, who says MasterCard can't be part of those, too? That's how we ended up launching Priceless.com, Priceless Surprises, Priceless Causes. If Raja could take Priceless to the moon, he would. And now he's probably thinking, why not? If you've ever played League of Legends or watched women's rugby or women's football or the Australian Open, you've probably seen our famous interlocking circles on your screen. And that's all because Raja made sure MasterCard was leading the way in sponsorships too. Because of him, our brand is more than just a way to pay. It connects consumers to what they care about most. If they're passionate about sustainability and conservation, there's a wildlife card for that. If travel and leisure is their thing, then they can check out our seemingly endless lists of priceless experiences and adventures around the globe. We've even gone multi-sensory because of Raja. We've got a cookie, a fragrance, a song. MasterCard is literally a brand you can taste, you can smell, and you can hear. And all of it serves a purpose. Just like our latest product launch that Raja supported, the Touch Card, which sets the accessible card standard to ensure that customers who are blind or partially sighted have an opportunity to be full participants in our economy. It's wonderful. I've actually been flooding Raja's suggestion box with my own ideas for the next phase of Priceless. Somehow Priceless Prada hasn't made it past the cutting room floor, but who knows, maybe after the speech he'll change his mind. But in all seriousness, Raja has helped chart a new course for our company. One where we are able to be a partner that helps our customers figure out what's worth paying for and what means most to them. So tonight, we honor someone who not only changed the way our customers think about a technology company like MasterCard, but who changed the entire industry and, frankly, the world in the process. And for all the success of Priceless, for all Raja has achieved, he continues to be the curious and passionate leader who is eager to chart a new course and discover that next frontier. I could not be more grateful to have someone like Raja at MasterCard and as my friend. So thank you, Raja, for everything you have done and will continue to do in the years ahead. I am so happy that we can celebrate you tonight. It gives me great pleasure to induct Raja into the Marketing Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rajamannar.
Firstly, Linda, thank you so very, very much. Uh, I keep saying some of these kind of moments are the ones which are worth really recording because not often you get praised as eloquently and as effusively. Thank you so much. You made my day. Uh, in fact, when you talk of colleagues, I think it's your colleagues which will really give you the joy of working. And what a delight it is and a pleasure it is to have somebody like Linda, who I count as probably the single biggest supporter and partner for marketing at all of MasterCard. Thank you, Linda. Really appreciate. I just wanted to mention, I have been an accidental marketer. Like Linda said, I have been a chemical engineer by training, and I was a gold medalist. And I stood first in my university, and I thought I was going to be a chemical engineer specializing in environmental engineering. And that was the path that I was on in my MBA, where I was trying to specialize in environmental management, about pollution and all these things, more than 3 decades back. And it was during my summer internship with a company, color cosmetics company in India called Lakme, where I was given a project, a nerdy quantitative project about logistics and the journey cycle planning of the salespeople to optimize the travel and all that good stuff. I was given that, and I was furiously working away. And I was sitting outside the cubicle of my boss, and he was talking to the agency people. In those days in India, there was a perception, it was a taboo for a woman of a good character to be using color cosmetics. if you're using color cosmetics like lipsticks and nail polishes and blush-ons and mascara and all those good things, which means she's trying to attract attention to herself. And a woman of a good moral character and conduct will not do that. That was the perception. Now, I had a sister who used to use them. And these guys were talking, because there is so much of taboo, they had to generate the demand, they were going through it. And they came out with a campaign which read something like this: if color be to beauty what music is to melody, play on. I started listening to it and said, what the hell are they saying? I just couldn't understand. It was almost like a puzzle. So I said, you don't tax the consumer, you should appeal to the consumer. And I was visualizing my sister. If my sister read it, she would just gloss over it, it would not make a damn difference. So I said, what would I write it for my own sister? So I just sort of put it on a piece of paper and I said, is it bad to look good? That was my headline. And then I showed a picture of somebody there and wrote a couple of lines, and then I showed it to him. Accidentally, the chairperson of that company, Mrs. Simone Tata, happened to be there in the office. So she said, what's happening? She looked at it. She loved it instantly. She said, this is the campaign. Let's go with it. And it was launched, and it became the campaign of the year. And I said, my God, this is great. Maybe I'm good at marketing after all. And I gave up my environmental management and moved into marketing in the second year of my MBA. And that's where I started specializing. And from then on, it's been more than 3 decades. And when Chris Capusella, by the way, both these gentlemen, Dan and Chris, I have had the privilege of knowing them for a number of years. Highest regard for both you folks on very different spheres. And both of them were also very kind to be on my LinkedIn Live, and which, by the way, they have done extremely well. So thank you, folks. I don't know how, when Chris Capusella, you said you have 32 years of experience behind you. I have to find out which fountain of youth you drink from. How come you retained a head full of hair, almost? So we will have that conversation after this. But on a serious note, when I started working at over the years, more than 3 decades now, marketing has been constantly changing and evolving. Literally every 10 years or so, when I would look back and say, look, today would I have done what I have done then? Maybe at a fundamental level, yes, but not the way it was manifesting. I would have reinvented, reimagined it. And so way back in, I believe it was 2013, I started talking about where marketing was going to go. And I wrote a concept note, which I felt very good about. I thought I could see into the future. And I wrote this paper called Marketing 4.0. At that time, MasterCard was having a strategy called MasterCard 3.0. So in fact, one of my colleagues, Francis Handel, was saying, Raja, you're trying to be one-upmanship to MasterCard. Why can't you be marketing 3.0? Why are you marketing 4.0? But that was an interesting leg pulling on the side. But the point is, when I wrote it and I started speaking about it at multiple places, it was resonating quite well. And suddenly I see a book that was published by the father of marketing, as I think is Philip Kotler. And he wrote a book called Marketing 4.0. I fell off my chair. I said, I wrote the concept paper. It has been published in a few places. And the name was there, and my own guru, his book is what I learned everything from. He writes it, and he actually published the book, which did quite well. And I said, maybe that's why he is Philip Kotler and I'm not. And I said, next time when I have an idea, I am going to write a book. And I started constantly looking for changes. And they say looking future, or looking into future, starts with looking into the past. So very nerdily, I started studying the history of marketing very, very deeply. And I was so pleasantly surprised it was there. More than 2,000 years back, evidence of marketing in the ruins of Pompeii that archaeologists have discovered, with paintings that actually talked about the virtues of candidates who were standing for elections. And the place that they chose were those houses of people who are very credible or who are very wealthy or who are in high traffic locations. So they had a concept basically of location-based marketing, which was fascinating. And I said, okay, it started then, and 800 AD, there was during the Song Dynasty, where they had the first logo of a rabbit holding a needle, talking about how fantastic these needles are because they're made from the finest of the steel, and subconsciously or subliminally suggesting a soft animal like a rabbit is actually holding it without hurting itself or whatever. Started reading the whole thing, and after that, I said, I have to now think about a book. And that's when I started. COVID happened, but it was a good outcome for me from a book point of view. I started going for these walks, and I wrote the whole book called Quantum Marketing, which I feel incredibly grateful that it became a Wall Street Journal bestseller. You said 4 million. I don't know if I had even made 40,000. Dan, I'll have to take some lessons from you, how to get at least a fraction of what you have got, which is amazing. And but the great gratifying thing to me was it was really well received across the world and published in 9 languages. And the biggest highlight to me was when it was I came to know just last week, that it is being published in Ukrainian, where they decided that very few books will actually be published, and they have chosen my book as one of those. I said, my day is made. I felt very, very touched and very grateful for that, and it's being now taught at some 300 colleges, etc. And the whole premise for me is that when I first wrote, I had a lot of trepidation, saying that, am I being too overly radical? And will I be trashed? How will criticism come, etc.? I said, okay, let me not worry about it. Let me put my thoughts first and then figure it out. And I started writing. And as I started doing it, I realized that every single thing that we are doing in marketing is already obsolete. And we need to redo it in a very different way. I'll just give you a couple of examples, right? Coming from India, and in India, there is one place. Indian people are typically crazy about films, movies. And within India, there is a subset from a city called Hyderabad. It is absolutely the worst in terms of the obsession with films and movies. The maximum number of films are produced out of Hyderabad in a language called Telugu, which is my mother tongue. And I started, I watch movies and songs, YouTube. At the end of 3 minutes, suddenly comes an interruption of some ad I couldn't care less about. I'm there to watch the beautiful song or whatever else it is, and here is that stupid ad which comes in. And I'm waiting for that skip now button to happen for that 5 seconds. And I quickly click it. And to make life difficult now, YouTube has 2 ads. Ad 1 of 2, which I can't skip, and ad 2 of 2, which is 5 seconds I can skip. That is taking consumers completely for a ride, or taking them for granted. I said, this is not how we should be advertising. This is not how we should be introducing. We as marketers talk about frictionless, seamless experience from consumers. And here we are inserting friction. When I was having a nice time, without any friction, you're coming into my space and creating friction and forcing me to watch your stupid ad. I don't want to do that. And I started sort of putting myself or my people who are close to me in positions of how they are subjected to marketing. The amount of deceptive marketing that we do is unbelievable. It's absolutely unacceptable if you were to think about it. I'll just tell you one story. Like my wife and her friends, they went and they bought some cosmetic item, L'Oreal or whatever, I don't remember the brand, and fairly expensive, some $100 from such small bottle. And when you open it, actually inside there is a sub-container, and the amount of quantity is so much, but the package looks big, and the outer package is even bigger. And I said, is it really fair that you should give this wrong impression? And I was overhearing, I think I overhear a lot. I was overhearing the conversation between my wife and her friends, and they were saying, these people think that we are idiots. They should let us know how much quantity is there. And likewise, one example I'll also give, when I went to Whole Foods with a friend of mine, he's also a crazy vegan like me. And before he turned a vegan, he was a vegetarian. And he would buy only organic food and very judiciously pick things which are, and therefore he goes to Whole Foods. We went there and he picks up the yogurt, plain, natural, organic yogurt. Okay, which is good. I just out of curiosity picked up that yogurt and started looking at the contents. There is starch in it. There are solidifiers, emulsifiers, whatever nonsense is there. And there are a lot of ingredients which are there in it, which you don't have to declare because the Food and Drug Administration says if the percentage is below a certain level, you don't have to do it. And I told him, have you seen this? And he literally recoiled, saying, I didn't know plain yogurt means it should be plain. So when you started looking at all this, one of the things I realized is we as marketers got it wrong. We need to rethink. And when you have now, if you look at past, every time a couple of technologies came, a couple of discoveries happened, marketing actually underwent a paradigm shift. Radio and television gave us the tools to tell stories that evoke the right emotions, drive the feelings, and therefore you can influence behavior. That was paradigm shift from paradigm 1 to paradigm 2. From 2 to 3, it was done because of two technologies, the internet and data analytics. And that changed. It brought in digital marketing, and it brought in precision marketing, targeting, ROI measurement, and all those good things. Then in 2007, when iPhone was launched, our lives changed completely in terms of connectivity and always on kind of a thing. And you also had the scaling of Facebook, and that was a social media. Between those two, you have mobile marketing, you have location-based marketing, you have social media marketing, you have influencer marketing. All these things have come about starting 2007. Two technologies at a time. Now we are at the verge of witnessing 24 technologies that are individually incredibly powerful. And the confluence of these 24 technologies is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. It'll be a disruption. And in fact, when Chris has said it so well resonated, AI is there. It's one of the biggest ones. But then you got AR. You got things like blockchain, which can eliminate the middlemen in a significant way. Today we know that every $100 we as advertisers or marketers pay, less than $40 are going to the media companies. $60 goes to middlemen or middle persons. That is height of inefficiency. So I think this is probably the time when marketing is going to need to be completely reinvented and reimagined, which is what I call as quantum marketing. In the world of physics, Newtonian classical physics were there for a long time. And that's what they would use to explain the environment around us, how things work, and leverage those natural forces. But when humanity discovered outer space or subatomic particles, classical physics simply could not explain. That's when quantum physics came in. Now, quantum physics is the basis for a ton of everything that we do today and how we are advancing. In pretty much the same way, I would visualize that quantum marketing is the new way that we will be doing marketing. It's a completely different paradigm, completely different set of hypotheses. Like when you talk of your funnel, awareness, interest, desire, action, satisfaction. Today there is no funnel. There is no Dagmar 1, there is no Dagmar 2. All these are nonsensical. And I was having discussions with the head of market research and insights with various companies, including Unilever, which was one of the earlier companies I worked for. The way we do market research is laughable. You are asking people to react consciously to a process that happens subconsciously, which drives their behavior. What you get when you ask questions is a post-rationalized response as opposed to the real truth. And everything, we have to redo it. And that's, to me, extremely exciting. And the enablement with all these technologies are coming is absolutely incredible. There could not be a better time than now to be in the field of marketing, to really reinvent, reimagine, and not just to advance your business, but at MasterCard, as we believe, we say, you be a force for growth of your company, but also you're a force for the good of the society. So be a force for good and force for growth. And that's a possibility, and I think it's an opportunity which we as marketers have got to create that kind of an incredible impact. And the other thing is, like I started where I said there is a deceptive marketing. From deceptive marketing, I think we have to go to truthful marketing. We have to go to purpose-driven, purposeful marketing. We don't have to cheat someone to win. we can win the consumers honorably and the right way, which I can tell you, I literally counted and I had people working for me with my personal money. I commissioned research to see what is the level of deception that is there in marketing today. That is more than 80%. That's the reason why there is credibility of marketing is actually in the toilet. Amongst the consumers, 85% of people who are consuming a brand don't trust the brand that they're using. They said, these guys are out to take me for a ride. What used to be called as car salesmen, who are seen to be sleek and slippery, we are seen like that. We need to change. And when you look at the universities and the various, ANA has done this study. When they asked which is the profession that you would love to go to, and they rank ordered all of them, marketing was below accounting, and marketing was below nursing. I have nothing against nursing, it's a noble profession. I have nothing against accounting, it's also a useful profession. Whether it's a noble or not, I don't know. But the thing is, marketing is below accounting. That baffles me. When I graduated from my MBA, marketing was the #1 field that you would go to. And today, it's way down. We need to inspire the future generations and give our time to the universities to teach them, to teach the students, to really give them an exposure, and also to the professors, because most of the professors have moved away from the industry several years back. And today, it's a very different reality, and they need to know how a CMO works today, what happens in real-world marketing, so they are able to inspire the next generation. I think there is a ton of opportunity. And when you talk of purpose-drivenness, I wanted to actually show you 2 videos, partly to break the monotony, but also to tell you this is what actually drives the purpose-drivenness, the North Star. One of those, in fact, Linda has alluded. Growing up, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, used to live with us. And she was blind. So me and my sister had to help her navigate throughout the house. I used to feel very sad about the fact that you could not see and everything is tactile. And I went to South by Southwest, and one of my colleagues from MasterCard, he happens to be, interestingly, from Treasury. Isidore is his name. So Isidore comes to me after my speech and he says, Raja, actually, why don't we have a card for blind people? Because blind people struggle to use the cards that we have got. I said, my God, how could I not have thought about it? My grandmother was there when I was growing up, and I knew that she would not be able to use something like this. And then I put together a small team, and then they started working, and they created something which is, I feel incredibly proud, in which Linda was referring to. We call it the touch card. I just want to show you that video. And what I would want to say is the creation of these kind of things is what is inspiring and what keeps you going. Can you just play that video of touch card, please? Thank you. Thank you. This is the kind of stuff which is truly inspiring. It makes a difference. And even as it makes a difference, it also helps the business grow. So Chris, when you shared that example, that resonated so well. And that was deeply moving, by the way. Compliments to you. Fantastic work done there. The other thing I would also just mention is I recently been to Poland. And I saw the team there, what they have done. So unfortunately, there has been this war, Russian war, as we all know. And so many people from Ukraine got displaced, and they moved to Poland. And the team on the ground has put together a small concept and executed it in a matter of few weeks. Extremely powerful. The video quality is not fantastic, let me warn you. But the concept is brilliant. Take a look at this, and this is the last video. It was doing so well out there in terms of the response and the emotion, the positivity around. And when you start doing this kind of a thing, that's where the brand love is born, and it is consolidated. So I feel very thrilled, actually, that we have come all the way from number 87 on brand Z to right now we're at 12, and hopefully we'll march even better as we go forward. And our budgets are not very significant. Our brand is much bigger than our budgets are. It's our creativity which is outsized. It's our innovation which is outsized. And that's what has been really driving us. And it's been a very gratifying journey. It is a gratifying journey. And like I said, one is, of course, you need to have amazing colleagues, which is fantastic. But also what really you need is a team. And I feel blessed. The team that I have got, absolutely gems. every one of them is not only incredibly capable, incredibly competent, enormously committed, but they are wonderful human beings, which is extraordinary. And I'm really blessed with that. This is probably the best team that I ever had in my entire career, and I feel so grateful for that. And alongside the team, we often fail to mention, which is our agencies. And I never tire of saying this. The agencies, they stand with you and behind you, but they never share the limelight with you. They're almost self-effacing. It is their creativity which makes us look so fantastic. And we're again blessed to have agencies like McCann, who, thank you very much, folks from the agency, really appreciate. We got Octagon, who are doing a splendid job on all our sponsorships. We got Kara, who is doing on media. We got Kitchen. On the PR side, we got an amazing roster of agencies. These are nothing but an extension of our own teams. And they do such a brilliant job. And so grateful to you guys. Thank you very much for that. You really make us look good. And finally, I would say that the learning journey continues, and it is people like Dan Ariely. In fact, I remember speaking with him for the first time in 2009 at Davos at the World Economic Forum, where I learned for the first time what behavioral economics was. I read up every one of your books, and the journey continues of learning, and that's fantastic. So thank you very much for what you do. And I really want to sincerely thank everyone, the AMA. You have mentioned that you guys didn't choose the winners, but I think thank you very much for giving the platform. You guys are doing an amazing job. Grateful to you. Thank you, everyone. That's it.
Well, I promised earlier that we would make history, and I believe that we have done that this evening. I want to thank all the inductees, the introducers, and everyone else who has been involved in making this a great evening. The bar is open. There's food. Please go ahead and do a little bit more networking. We also have a step and repeat over there as well. If you'd like to have photographs taken in front of that, that would be great.
One thing is I have to give a thanks especially to Pernod Ricard. There should be a big sign up next to the rosé wine saying this is the launch day. We are the first people to have access to their latest rosé wine. And and it's very good. I tried it, so please taste it.
Thanks very much. Yeah, be safe out there.